Little Miss Stubborn by Roger Hargreaves. Hello boys and girls, today we're going to read Little Miss Stubborn by Roger Hargreaves. Are you ready? Are you sitting comfy? Okay, let's get started. Little Miss Stubborn by Roger Hargreaves. Little Miss Stubborn was, as you might imagine, extraordinarily stubborn. Once she made her mind up, there was no unmaking it. If she decided to go out, she went out, even if it was pouring with rain. One Sunday, when it wasn't raining, she decided to take the bus to Mr. Strong's house. Why? Because she has run out of eggs. And, as everybody knows, Mr. Strong always has eggs. As she arrived, Mr. Nosy walked by. Being nosy, he couldn't help asking, "Where are you going, Little Miss Stubborn?" "To Mr. Strong's house," she said. "But this bus doesn't go anywhere near there." But Little Miss Stubborn took the bus anyway, and you wouldn't be surprised to hear that it didn't go anywhere near Mr. Strong's house. It went to Coldland, a country where it's so cold that everyone has a cold all year round. "What a charming place," she said, shivering and trying to look as if she had really planned on coming to Coldland in the first place, which, of course, she hadn't, as you know. There's Little Miss Stubborn in Coldland. She ran along the path to keep warm. "A tissue!" Somebody sneezed all of a sudden. It was Mr. Sneeze. "If I was you," he warned, "I wouldn't take a tissue. That path, it's icy. A tissue." "I'll take it if I want to," snorted Little Miss Stubborn as she followed the path. But can you guess what happened? Little Miss Stubborn, whoosh! She slipped on the ice. That's her slipping on the ice. "That was fun," said Little Miss Stubborn, but of course it wasn't. She came to a fork in the path. "I shall go this way," she said, taking the right-hand path. "You're making a big mistake," said a worm, popping his head through the snow. "This way isn't safe." "Don't be silly," cried Little Miss Stubborn, and started off down the path. She really should have listened to the worm. There's the worm in Coldland. Before she had gone very far, an avalanche of snowballs fell on top of her. There's the snowballs. One of the snowballs rolled off the path and rolled down a very steep hill, and inside it Little Miss Stubborn rolled and rolled down the very steep hill as well. There she is inside the snowball. Wowee. Oh, this one's really tricky. Got it. The snowball rolled a very long way, all the way into a different country where it melted. As luck would have it, Little Miss Stubborn found herself outside Mr. Strong's front door. She was soaked to the skin. "My goodness, you're wet through," said Mr. Strong. Quick, come in and dry yourself before you catch a cold." "I don't catch colds," said Little Miss Stubborn. "Anyway, I've come for some eggs. Out of my way." "That's no way to behave," said Mr. Strong. "Rubbish," snorted Little Miss Stubborn. She's not being very nice, is she? Still wet through, she marched into Mr. Strong's kitchen. Without a please or a thank you, she helped herself to a large bowlful of eggs. "You could at least ask," said Mr. Strong. "Tissue," sneezed Little Miss Stubborn. "I told you you'd catch a cold," said Mr. Strong. "I don't catch colds," said Little Miss Stubborn, and sneezed again. "A tissue." Oh, she's taking all the eggs. She was so hungry by this time that there and then she made herself an enormous omelette. It was gigantic. It was so big that it wouldn't even fit onto the page. There's the big omelette. Then she began to eat her enormous, gigantic omelette, and the more she ate, the more worried Mr. Strong became. "You'll make yourself ill," he said. "Fiddlesticks," snorted Little Miss Stubborn, and because she was who she was, she finished the enormous, gigantic omelette. Wow, that's a lot of omelette. And there's not much more to add, other than now you know how extraordinarily stubborn little Miss Stubborn is. Stubborn to the very end of this story. That was Little Miss Stubborn by Roger Hargreaves.